And the Nigerian Foundation for the Support of Victims of Terrorism, in collaboration with the Nigerian Defense Academy, has held a brainstorming session where the need for an end to the insurgency in the northeast, farmers-herders clashes in the north-central, and militancy in the south-south took the center stage. Clevi TV's defense correspondent Chinedu Mbatuegu was at the Nigerian Air Force Conference Center, Kado, Abuja, venue of the event, and filed this report.
Speaking at the event, Governor Umar Zulum of Borno State stressed that to eradicate insurgency from the nation, the root problem must be addressed. Zulum said it is worrisome that farmers in the northeast can no longer farm on their lands, while several communities have been displaced.
For us to address the root causes of this insurgency, for us to stop this insurgency, we must address the root causes. But one of the major problems that we are witnessing in the northeast sub-region is access to our farmlands. 70% of our land are not under cultivation. Hitherto been cultivated. How do we end the insurgency? One of our major problems is also displacement of communities in their origin. And it is obnoxious for me to say that the issue of displacement is now one of our serious problems. While acknowledging the tremendous support of the Nigerian military in ending the insurgency, in the recent time they are doing very good. But they are also responsible for most of the displacement that has been occurring in our region. You displace human society. They don't have access to agricultural land, access to aquaculture farming, access to their livestock farming. How do you think you shall end the insurgency? While some of the actors are also actively engaged in the so-called businesses of fishing. This is something very important. If we wanted to end this insurgency, the Nigerian military must give opportunity for the communities to go back to their lands.
In his response, the National Security Advisor, General Babangana Monguno, retired, said now is the time for Nigerians to join forces with the military to end the 10-year-old insurgency.
The insurgency in the northeast has lasted a decade, and this unfortunate milestone invites us to reflect deeply upon the remote and immediate causes of a conflict that has devastated the region, spread into neighboring countries, and created one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. While we continue to invest in building the capacities of our armed forces and intelligence services, we recognize that an insurgency is an adaptive and complex threat which cannot be addressed solely by kinetic measures. In the theater, this comprehensive approach calls for the harmonization of combat imperatives with those of humanitarian operations. The conduct of military security, civil-military relations has emerged as a strategic linchpin.
In a chat with newsmen, General Martin Luda Agwai, Nigeria's former Chief of Army and Defense Staff, sheds more light on why Nigerians must cooperate with the military to end the spate of insecurity in the country.
The simplest thing is left now is for us to really honestly, sincerely approach what we know. If we don't know it, then we have a problem. But now we know. So what we need to do is collectively find a solution to what has been happening. And I am sure with the caliber of people I've seen in this meeting, we'll be able to find a solution. And after a solution, in my paper to them, I have said we must put a timeline. Between now and this, we must do this. Between this period and this period, we must do this. So that if we begin to fail in one area, we will quickly adjust and find out why have we failed and what do we need to do to achieve that goal.
The conference was attended by several dignitaries, including men of the armed forces from various wings. The Victim Support Fund, in collaboration with the Nigerian Defense Academy, is working to evaluate the nature, evolution and root causes of Boko Haram insurgency in Nigeria. Chinedu Mbatuegu, reporting for Clearview Television.